Welcome to the Battlefield 6 waiting room, my friends. It's just a few more days away, and today I want to take a look at and chat with you about a few general tips for launch, things to do, things to keep in mind, and get you geared up ready to go for launch later this Friday. This, a more casual look and touching on an overview of sorts of items with game improving tips and such coming for when the game launches, but for now, let's run through our checklist of things that we need to do to get ready for Battlefield 6. Drop your thoughts, drop a like, and if you're enjoying the coverage, do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button. The support has been absolutely insane lately. Cannot thank you guys enough. But if you'd like to help us out for hitting that lofty goal and that milestone of 700,000 subscribers over the next few months, I'd love to have you in the community. Finally, check out my new friends at AdvancedGG, but more on that in just a bit. So let's start out with the general tips, sort of in good fun, lighthearted, and no specifics, a sort of warm-up of sorts. We'll touch on gameplay specific things in a second, but first things first, make sure you preload the game. This is important for jumping in right away. I know we mentioned it in yesterday's everything you should know, but in the interest of being thorough and covering these types of things you should do before launch, it should absolutely be mentioned again. There will be a day one patch that will be required to download, but a likely 5 to 10 to 15 gigabyte patch is a lot more manageable the day of, and before jumping in, than the entirety of roughly 70 gigabytes worth of a game, downloading that in full and then the day one patch. So make sure you save yourself some time, especially if you don't have the greatest internet and bandwidth, and get that preloaded while you can. Next, rally the squad and party up. Solo play is obviously perfectly fine. I'm mostly a solo player, but with a squad element of Battlefield, grab your mates, grab a mic, grab a drink or snack of your choice, and have fun together. One set of eyes is great, but 4 sets of eyes and callouts is, well, obviously so much better. Next, recognize the timing of launch. One of the big things that I still see talked about a lot in comments and on social media is the timing of the game's launch, because this time it is a singular launch point. It's not going to be midnight locally like a lot of other games do, so that flight you may have booked to New Zealand, it's not going to do you any good, as launch will happen at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, and elsewhere in the world as denoted on screen for you guys with the graphic that Battlefield has put out. One other thing to consider is that I also saw a lot of rightful excitement where people are saying, oh, I'm going to take off work, but honestly, you might not need to do that depending on where you're at in the world, because it is that one singular launch time. Sure, in the States, it doesn't really help you out all that much. 8 a.m. Pacific to 11 a.m. Eastern, that's right in the middle of when you'd be starting your workday likely. But for those in Europe, like the UK, it'll be launching at 4 p.m. So if you get off at like 5 p.m., you're not missing out on a whole ton. So if you're, say, limited on that PTO you may have, you might be able to save one of those days, unless you really want to take it. Obviously, nowhere near my place to tell you what to do, but just as a heads up, be conscious of when it's actually launching. And finally, for our lighthearted general tips, get ready with AdvancedGG. We talked about grabbing a drink, grabbing a snack. Well, after a long while, we've partnered with AdvancedGG here on the channel, an incredible supplement drink designed to help you realize your peak potential. For me, it's my cup of coffee in the morning, my midday energy boost, and for gaming, keeps me alert and ready to go. With incredible flavors, today I'm rocking the strawberry lemonade, 0 chalky residue, some really cool shaker types and designs, soon to be espresso collab shakers and flavors, by the way. If you want to fuel up for the Battlefield, today through Friday's launch, you can get a limited time 30% off your entire order with code ESPRESSO30, link down below. But anyways, cheeky plug out of the way, let's talk about some game offering tips here. First, find your priority. What do you want to play? Think about that going into the launch here, campaign, multiplayer, or portal. If campaign, jump in and maybe stay off Twitter or some other socials to avoid spoilers the next few days. We talked about how there are copies out there in the wild right now, those physical copies. If anybody has a physical copy, the servers are open at this point, so people can start playing, whether that be campaign, multiplayer, you name it. Somebody else could spoil the game for you if you are on socials and don't want to see anything about campaign. Multiplayer, of course, you have all the options that you know of and we've talked about before. And then Portal, it's a literal sandbox. I am very curious to see how many experiences there will be on day one, like how quickly people set up servers and custom experiences, but we'll have to wait and see. As for your general gameplay tips leading into launch, have an understanding of what you want to change in regards to your settings. Sensitivity, FOV, motion blur disabled, I would definitely suggest that. I know that a lot of settings are subjective, but motion blur is like one thing I'm always going to champion against. It genuinely takes away from the visibility you have at distance when making any motion. We'll of course have a more in-depth settings guide here come launch of the game, but just as a heads up, know that you're going to have to do that kind of stuff. One thing when it comes to gunplay, a big thing, having covered Call of Duty for 13 years on the channel here in the past, I think a big thing a lot of people may, if they're coming over, want to recognize is auto versus burst versus tap firing. Auto firing is going to be a lot less advantageous in gunfights over long range than you may be used to. Having a little bit of bloom, a little bit of that sort of cone of spread isn't something new for Battlefield, but for those coming directly from like Call of Duty or another shooter, it might be. Not to mention recoil profiles have the chance to be a bit more unforgiving, so utilizing a burst or tap fire method is something that will keep you on target more while also mitigating that recoil at its base. That is definitely something you want to consider going into it. Accuracy is also key, so utilizing those to make sure that you're, of course, more accurate on headshots, upper chest shots. That's going to get you that kill a lot quicker and sometimes can be the difference between life and death. Crafting your weapon in Battlefield 6 is going to utilize that sort of pick 100 system that we already saw in the beta, but one thing that's different here about this is you're going to have a plethora of different unlocks for attachments. Unlike the beta, you're going to have a much wider range of attachments to choose from, and the requirement to progress your weapons through all the weapons on offer and all those levels to unlock the attachments associated with the general progression. So you're not going to have as immediate access and success to insanely powerful weapons. You're going to need to spend time to cultivate those, to rank up those weapons. So just know consciously going into it, it's going to take a little bit more time before you get that perfect build per se. And if you want to try and perfect that, of course, head to the firing range to perfect those builds and build them out how you see fit. Whether you want a bit more snappier nature for quick draw times or something, or you want a bit more recoil mitigation, the firing range, of course, is going to be your best friend there. Also, experience the variety of weapons. While no matter what game, a meta is undoubtedly going to come across at some point, Battlefield's weaponry is honestly all rather viable from what we've seen so far. So if that's the case, then that holds up with the full launch of the game with all 45 weapons on offer. Try them out. Rank up and progress through as many as you can. See what you enjoy, whether it be sniping, using an SMG, a rifle or a carbine, LMG, you name it. There's going to be something you feel comfortable with that if you try it out, maybe you'll find your new favorite weapon. Also talking about weaponry, there is going to be mastery for weapons. While technically it's only leaked and we don't quite necessarily know the exact criteria per se, mastery of weapons looks to give you either a camo or a weapon package. So if you're a completionist, you've got a lot to do across those 45 weapons. These camos or weapon package skins, those being a bit more like bronze accented compared to other things that we've seen. We do know we have camos as well. How those again are unlocked, we don't quite know officially speaking, but you're going to have some stuff to grind out for customization and cosmetics. Overall, in terms of playing the game, the biggest thing is play the objective. There's no streaks in Battlefield, no nuke to chase, nothing like that. The ultimate goal is winning with your squad. Sure, your individual gunplay and stats can matter, but being a part of that unit, chasing that goal of depleting enemy tickets, reinforcements, securing sectors, that's the goal, and usually when you're doing that, it's going to lead to better individual scores as well. Playing as a team, as a unit, huge for the Battlefield experience, and neglecting that, well, doesn't help your case for a win, and of course certainly doesn't help your team's case for a win either. Next, make sure you play to your class role. Whether you're assault, engineer, support, recon, you end up having a specific role that can help out yourself and the rest of your squad and overall team. Assault, push that front line. Engineer, repair those vehicles and take out enemy vehicles. Support, give ammo to your squad, revive those teammates. Also, if you're down, request a revive. Don't just immediately give up. There's a chance you can save your team the tickets, reinforcement numbers, and it can come in clutch. Recon, spot those enemies, get eyes in the sky. We're all guilty of not, but it's okay. But if you're consciously trying more often than not, it's appreciated by the whole team. I think for a lot of people, this might be one of those things that it's one of their first Battlefield titles, so playing the objective, playing that role is something that may not necessarily be something they initially think about right up front, but I promise it's integral to the gameplay and it's going to help you have such a better time if you can do that. Next, expanding upon that class discussion, recognize there will not be class-locked weapons within Battlefield 6. There will be signature weapon traits that offer a bit more bonus for using the class weapons in their proper setting, but no required conformity outside of the designated closed weapon playlists. Now, this has been and will continue to be a hot button issue, but with Portal's freedom and the progression coming alongside that being one-to-one in most modes that are just slight deviations off of the game mode. So like if you want to play Portal and only have closed weapons on all of the map rotations and a certain subset of modes, you can end up doing that and gaining progression one-to-one if that's the only thing you're tweaking. But for me, for everything else that I've found enjoyable about this game, for me personally, I'm choosing to not let that fact derail my enjoyment of the game, but fully respect the opinion of anyone who may feel stronger about it than I do. But finally, general launch window tips here. Biggest, just enjoy your time. Have fun with it, man. It's been a while since the Battlefield community has had a game that a lot of people are really excited for, that they're really keen for, and that they've seen is actually pretty good. Like, of course, every time there's a game that's revealed, released, there is that initial hype and anticipation. But like most recently with the Battlefield 2042 beta leading to that launch, and of course the launch itself was a disaster, it's been a long time since we've had a game that, like, it seems like everybody's, for the most part, pretty keen on. So just have fun with it. The community seems to be back and enjoying it. Play around, make some new friends, grind out the game. I'm just hoping you enjoy your time. Next, share feedback in a constructive manner where applicable, whether that be Twitter, maybe YouTube comments, the official subreddit, places like that. David Serland and co. on the Battlefield team have been rather vocal about the game's suggestions and communal concerns lately, and have been pretty transparent with answering those things. So you can end up getting your feedback and your questions or concerns across, and if you do it in a way that encourages discussion, you're likely going to see some fruits of that. Blatantly insulting someone or being a dick is a great way to just get ignored by anyone in life, so we can all keep it civil, and of course, for the sake of discussion and trying to make the game even better in whatever way you may feel it is better, it's just the better way to go about it. And finally, relax. We're at the end of the road here. Drink some water, breathe. Don't lose sight on life. I know that we're all very excited for this, and it's very easy to get sucked into the game here for 12, 16, maybe 24 hours on end. You never know. Grind time does get real, but take those breaks where needed, gamers. Enjoy your life, and overall, just have a good time this next couple of weeks here. But that said, just wanted to talk with you a little bit about some casual expectations, some things to do, and things like that. So let me know your thoughts down below. How are you guys faring in the Battlefield 6 waiting room? Is it killing you? Is it something you can't wait for Battlefield 6's launch? Let me know. If you guys enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor, drop a like on it. Of course, if you are new to the channel, you'd like to join the community we have here, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you around. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name's been Espresso. See you later. Take care, and peace.